Good morning and welcome back to the Opportunistic Trader for November 7th, the day after the exciting or non-exciting election. Market is up again. We're 180 handles off the low made, I think, on the, I don't know when the actual low was the day, but less than 5 or 6 trading days ago was the low. Market is in bull mode, no sellers, and we got short some S&Ps here. We're up a little on that, short a little NASDAQ, not up on that, long a little crude, up on that. So overall, up. Yesterday we made money on Apple and we got stopped out of a crude loser. Crude is mystifying. It's the most broken thing that I think I've ever seen in a long time. I wouldn't say my full career, but it's pretty broken, down about 25% from the high when everyone wanted to buy it every single day, and now everyone wants to sell it every day. So overall, that's sort of what I see. The S&P's up 20, NASDAQ's up 72. Weird, yesterday on the close, there was an imbalance of $2 billion to sell, and then the market ticked up 15 handles, and then all of a sudden at the end of the day it was not to sell anymore, it was to buy. So again, I've discussed this on air and I will always say this: these imbalances are not real, they're fake, they're caused to cause instability in the market, whereas the New York Stock Exchange parses them out, and I'm not understanding why. Back in the day we used to not see imbalances till the close, and then you had 15 minutes to pair it off. But they've come up with some gimmick now to make more money or whatever, and they put it out 2 hours before, scare everybody, get people in and out of positions that they shouldn't, and that's sort of the mantra. Overall, very quiet day. The big story obviously is the straddle that was $40 is now $15. Volatility is the lowest level it's been in months. We're down to a 17 vol, and the vol futures are actually over the cash now slightly, which seems to be happening every time we get elevated vol. They don't buy the volatility really, and anytime they get vol that's crashing, the futures go to a premium. So that's what I see. The dollar is significantly weaker across the board. I'm sure that the British pound is probably at 130 or 131, so it's 131 and a half, not moving. Currencies in general are moving. The surprise trade last night, I guess, was the bond. When they felt that everything was in line, they took the bonds down, probably made a high yield of the recent, and then reversed and rallied about a point, and now we're sitting here. Overall, the trade was the straddle, shorting it. This was, a big non-event as far as, what everybody was looking for. Again, I'll say it, and I'll continue to say it. I don't know how it's bullish. Not having the ability to get things done for the next 2 years. Literally, he passed everything he passed by 1 or 2 votes. He doesn't have those 1 or 2 votes anymore. So the next 2 years is going to be nothing done, and we'll see how frustrated Trump gets off that. But I guess Mike is saying to me that, it wasn't as bad as they thought. So that being said, there's not a lot of action. They want to continue to buy. They're, I guess, starting to mark the market for the end of the year, which is shocking. The market is up maybe about 4% after being down. We've rallied 180 handles off of 2,600, so you're looking at about over 5% rally. But we're really nowhere. We're stuck mid-range. Today should be an interesting one. If they do sell them early, it could get ugly. but I walked in here, S&P was up like 14 or 15, and now we're up a smooth 21. The premium is high, so it's really like 27 or 28 higher. But I guess in what's going on, it's not a big move. But overall, looking at the tape, it just feels to me like it's just not right. But again, when prices are high, no one can sell. When prices are low, no one can buy. The outlier is crude oil. Still looks terrible. We are long it, but we thought it would be up a couple of bucks. And it's interesting that crude Brent WTI spread just keeps widening. It's weird. I saw Brent was up $1 and change, and we were up like 50 cents. It's well over $10, almost $11. So even as that market comes crashing in, that spread remains high. So, we'll keep an eye on crude. There is the numbers today. I'm sure there's a glut of crude. 2 months ago, there was no crude. So, that's the market that we're dealing with. And overall, just not understanding the tape, not understanding why in the 10th up year in a row that we continue to do the same trade year in and year out. August of 15, 16, 17, now 18. You have an exact 9% pullback from the all-time high tick, and then you run right back up every single time. And no one ever sells, and no one ever has to sell. So that being said, we're not positive on the market. The only thing that's amazing to me is that they're taking the volatility out of the entire market. So I don't know why the election was such a big deal, but I guess to the market players it was. It's interesting. Market rallied 180 handles and Apple went down $25. But what was funny is Apple never went down in the down move. So you can't figure out what they're doing, what the computers are doing, what the link is. And, they're trying to buy a little bit of financials. Facebook is still wrecked at 151. Amazon still off the high. Netflix still off the high, but overall, the market remains firm. We are short. We're going to add to the short if we come in today, maybe stay in it a little bit. But we have to see how everything goes here. But overall, we didn't do anything in options. We probably should have. It would have been a home run. But overall, that's what I see here today, and I'll be back to everybody later. I'm going to be quick today. Don't have a lot to say. What's the schedule today, Mike?
The schedule for today, we have Phil Flynn at 10 o'clock. We have Andy, so he's going to be talking about the DOE report and also the macro markets, energy markets. Andy LeBeau at 10:45 is going to be breaking down the DOE report. He's going to be coming on at like 10:45 after we've had a few minutes to digest it. Tony Greer is going to be coming on at 11:05 to talk about his equity stuff. He has a lot of different themes. I see cannabis stocks are getting a bump. The few interesting things that I'm taking a look at here is, it seems like the market's like Trump's having a press conference, I think at 10:30 or 11, talking about how it's a positive, everything that just happened. And, part of his tweet that he's been sending out before is, it's okay, let's get back to business and let's get back to trade. That's the part I don't see how is necessarily a positive for the markets here. Of he's going to be going, the China-U.S. is going to be back in the spotlight. And that kind of gridlock of what's going to actually come from this. But the one really interesting thing I'm looking at right now in the markets is the 2-year is trading at the highest level since 2008. We're at 295 right now. So the 2-year, the short end of the yield curve is actually ticking up, and the 10-year is down small at 320. The 30-year is down more at 341. So, we have the Fed tomorrow, but the short end of the yield curve, the yields are actually moving higher. So that's interesting to keep an eye on throughout the day.
It's just a flattener. They want to have inversion, and I don't know how it's bullish, but somehow nothing matters until it's printed in the news and, they talk about it on CNBC that the yield curve or yields or whatever. But right now, you know, they're buying the market. They got the bull hat on. You know, oil's on its 7th down week in a row or something, 6th or 7th. You know, it also, I think it's like 9 out of 10. That thing just can't rally. The S&P rallied 180 handles. That's on the low. We do like that. We do like the short here. We do want to press the short if the market goes down. But to be honest with you, it's actually disheartening here to watch the trade. It's over. You know, it's like we had good trade. You know, usually they give you good trading for a day, then they gave it to you for 3 days, and now we had it for a couple of weeks. And people don't realize that the money is made really with, you know, market movement, and by having a straight up tape with no hiccups is bizarre. But you know, listen.
We made that low 8 days ago, 8 trading days.
Yeah. So, you know, it's the Jamboni V bottom. You know, we've seen it 100 times before. You know, I'd really like to get, you know, big time short in here. I'm waiting it out. You know, we have decent location. But it's just frustrating to watch tick, 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 and it just sits, and you know, there's nothing going on, and you can see by the volatility in the option pricing that they don't want to buy anything. Maybe this whole trade was that everybody ran in, bought so much protection, and it never worked for them. Even when we went down, like last month, if you look at like a lot of the numbers, people may have had hedges on, but it didn't help them. You know, the numbers last month were not good. You know, they're hoping this month. What are we up on the month already? We're probably up like 2%, 3%. I don't know where we started the month, but we're up a lot. We're up probably 100 handles. So, you know, we're up 2, 3, 4%. And, you know, everybody's bulled out. So today should be a real interesting one. We're excited here as far as having opportunity. I do think potentially we could see the other side of unchanged today. We got to just see how everything shakes out after the opening. But overall, you know, again, dollar's weak. Sort of, you know, it's funny when the dollar's strong, the market's up. When the dollar's weak, the market's up. You know, when bond yields are up, the market's up. When bond yields are down, the market's up. I've never seen a market where there's not like. I don't even know what to cue off of. DAX got weaker from the open, you know, from when I woke up this morning. It was up about 120. The Nikkei's up, but not, you know, too much. So, you know, we'll keep an eye on everything here, and we'll be back to you guys after the opening. The straddle's only $15, by the way. 15. So they took over $27 out of the straddle at the money. So that's it, and we'll be back to you. I don't know if you have anything to add, Mike, but
no, we'll be back. We'll be back on many times throughout the day. We got Phil, Andy, Tony, and a few other people. You know, it'll be active day.
All right. We look forward to seeing you guys in the chat. We'll be back to you again before the opening. Thanks.